do I survive disruption? We hear a lot of this term disruption, right? There's going to be technological disruption. There's going to be blah, blah disruption. I'd like to share a story about what you can do. You have to understand what your core competence is. You have to understand what your core value is as a company. What value do you deliver? And you also have to understand how your company is organized to deliver that value. Let me explain. So out of curiosity, just ask everyone, think for it. How many of you use an iPhone? Or better still, how many of you remember using a Blackberry before your iPhone? And how many Blackberry fans, right? And unbeknownst to, I don't know whether everybody knows this, but when at one time, Blackberry was really the rage. It was the most important device for anybody. The iPhone came out. And interestingly, when iPhone first came out, nobody wanted the iPhone. If you're a BlackBerry user, you wouldn't use iPhone. Why? Because the iPhone had poor quality in terms of, especially in terms of the battery life. And it didn't have buttons. But over time, the iPhone, the touch screen, it got better, the quality became better, and it became a better device. It was more user-friendly than buttons and whatnot. And frankly speaking, just a lot of people started to use iPhone. And BlackBerry couldn't respond, right? And why couldn't BlackBerry respond? It turns out the real reason why BlackBerry couldn't respond to the iPhone is because of the way BlackBerry was organized around making the BlackBerry. That means the way the organization is organized around the product, the way you assemble your supply chain, your R&D, everything. The one company that could respond to iPhone was Samsung. Why? Because Samsung didn't have the same baggage as BlackBerry. They could build a new architecture around building a phone that could compete with the iPhone, and that's exactly what happened. So what am I saying here? Two things. If you want to adapt to the situation, always try to remember what your core competence is. Let me share you another story about core competence. I'm thinking about it. In recent times, I was talking to a couple of SMEs and thinking about how the SMEs respond to technological disruptions. I remember talking to a box manufacturing company in the 80s, 90s, really successful. They built boxes for manufacturing. And Singapore had a lot of manufacturing capabilities companies, so they were doing really well. About 10, 15 years ago, these manufacturing companies left Singapore, went to cheaper locations. This box company said, all right, I spoke to them, so how do you survive? I say, well, cut costs. Then I say, how are you staying competitive? It's really difficult. Cut costs. You know, I say, why? I say, well, we can't follow our clients overseas. And I said to them, have you ever considered calling Amazon? And they said, why would I call Amazon? And I said, because Amazon needs boxes. And you could see the look on the executive's face like, yes, why didn't we call Amazon? So they had forgotten what the core competencies. Now, in contrast, another SME, Singaporean too, for the longest time, they metal printed hard disk drives for laptops. So Apple and IBM, whatnot. And as all of you know, laptops stopped using hard disk drives. So they lost a lot of business because it's a volume business, right? And when you ask them, how did you survive? They say, you know what we realized? We were not a hard disk drive producer. We were a precision engineering metal parts stamping company. And if you go to the airline industry, okay, sorry about airline industry, but when you build planes, you need metal parts. I say, well, look, it's the same technology. I can make you metal parts as you want. So what's the point here? Understand what your core competency is and pivot according to your core competency.